Morgan Stanley's Bitcoin Trust launched this week, actually 3 days ago, and they've already attracted $50 million of inflows. But that they're not solely responsible for the supply shock. And still up for debate whether the supply shock is currently happening, but the price is doing well. What we are watching, though, is Stretch alone accumulate over 10,000 Bitcoin this week, helping Strategy continue their absolute assault on the Bitcoin supply. It really feels in this moment that Stretch is going to get all of the Bitcoin available right now. And of course, this is all happening as Bitcoin is grinding higher up towards $73,000 and continues to be the best performing asset since the start of the Iran war. Now, we don't know what's going on with the war. Again, there's still a little bit of the fog of war going on right now. A lot of misdirection, misinformation of what exactly is happening currently. But that's not what we're going to talk about today. We are talking about what looks like a supply shock. You guys know the mother of all supply shocks. Is it finally happening? Is it finally happening a year late? I don't know, guys. It really does feel like this might be the moment, okay? Let's start with this clip of Morgan Stanley talking about the launch of their new ETF and what this actually means.
In terms of where the market is. But I have to tell you, in terms of the pickup we saw yesterday, the first day of trading, our best first day of trading for any of our ETFs since we've started the ETF product line a couple years ago. So I think that speaks to the demand that's still out there for the Bitcoin ETF. Almost 1.7 million shares traded yesterday, and at 12 o'clock today, we are already having another good day today. As you said, there's it's a nice week in the market, a nice day in the market for some pickup in Bitcoin and the markets to help us out there. But
and there's a nice
look. You could say this is just Morgan Stanley talking their bag, which obviously it partially is. But you heard it there. This is their best ETF launch in all of Morgan Stanley's ETF products, which is what we also heard for the IBIT BlackRock launch. It's truly incredible what we're seeing. And again, I've been very vocal about the fact that I'm not the biggest ETF fan per se, but I understand that there is an interest in Bitcoin through these ETF products, and there are some cons with them, which I've elaborated on the show multiple times. But I think the main takeaway from that clip in and of itself, it really feels like only Bitcoin could be the vehicle for this to happen. They launched other ETFs. They're kind of whatever, subpar. They launch a Bitcoin ETF. The first day, they get $30.6 million of inflow. Yesterday, they got roughly $20 million. It's actually around $17 million. Their third day trading of the ETF. We don't have the official numbers yet. We'll maybe cover them on Monday when we actually get the numbers. But a pretty strong entrance to the Bitcoin ETF game, or into the Bitcoin ecosystem. What we are seeing, without a doubt, and I think that clip kind of confirms, is we are in the midst of Bitcoin being financialized. Now, I know some people don't really like that word. Financialization is really a dirty word, not just in Bitcoin, but in general. But what we are seeing is there is a huge interest in Bitcoin products. Wall Street, institutional investors, institutions themselves, however you want to label this, they have understood now they need Bitcoin. And is this not the thesis that we've always talked about in Bitcoin? That, hey, the whole world is going to get on Bitcoin. Even your worst enemy is going to get on Bitcoin. And that's just how it's going to happen. Everyone will eventually get on Bitcoin. And that's just period. That's the end of it. That's the end of the story. And we're starting to see this happen. Again, I'm going to double down on what I've been saying, my prediction. I think 2026 is the year that we thought 2025 was going to be. Maybe not in terms of crazy price actions, though. Guys, my trend line's still holding up. It's actually doing very, very well right now. My astrology is holding up here. But what I mean by that is that 2026 is going to be, I think, by the end of the year, it's going to be the definitive point in time where we do finally see significant institutional capital come into Bitcoin. Whether we love or hate that, whether we don't think that this is how Bitcoin should have won, this is how it is winning. You know me, part of what I consider myself is to be a pragmatist, a realist, where I have a bunch of I have a bunch of ideologies. I have a bunch of theories of how things should work. And I talk about them constantly, but what I usually do is, hey, I have my theories, and then I look at what the data is telling me. And I usually let the data lead where my opinion goes. And from where we stand currently, the institutions want Bitcoin. They're all launching Bitcoin products. Maybe I'm not the happiest about it, but that's what's happening. In the current moment, that is what is. And I think that's the most important thing to really recognize before you're like, I will talk about that, Familia Diaz. Anyways, I'm over here. Let's start here so you guys can see that I'm not just making things up. We're on bitcointreasuries.net. And you can see I'm on the ETF and exchange tab here. And yes, off rip, Morgan Stanley ETF isn't up here. It's not even that high on the list, to be completely honest. It's all the way down here at 42. But for just being launched for the first 2-3 days of trading, you can see they have acquired 651 Bitcoin, roughly $47 million. That was just on 2 days alone. So first day, about 30.6 million. Second day, roughly $17 million. We'll see what happens on day 3. Though there is a lot of speculation, and I wasn't the only one to say this. I saw a couple of tweets about it, but actually, I think it was Matt Hogan who was saying it. Anyways, the idea is that we are seeing, and I think Eric Balkunas also kind of reiterated the same idea, that what we are seeing potentially, at least part of the volume going into the Morgan Stanley ETF, is a rotation out of the other ETFs because of the fees being so low. So Wall Street institutions, products competing for capital in Bitcoin, they're all undercutting each other. Excuse me, Morgan Stanley seems to have figured it out with that low fee. Anyways, I saw this tweet. This is pretty interesting, and this is going to set the tone for everything else that I'm going to talk about. Shouts out to James Van Straten. I really love his Twitter account. He's doing really good work. I think we won't hold it against him that he works at CoinDesk, but his tweets are good. He goes, IBIT buyers got in at 40K and saw a 200% return in less than 2 years. Morgan Stanley buyers are getting in at 70K, and a 200% return in 2 years is $210,000. Totally probable. Now, again, the idea isn't per se that Morgan Stanley ETF buyers or BlackRock buyers are the sole reason for Bitcoin to go 200+%. But as you can see, the incentive structure is built out. If you are a new entrant into the ETF game, if you maybe only trust Morgan Stanley with the ETF and you're looking at historical precedent, you're looking at what other products have done, a 200% return in 2 years is absolutely insane. So I can only bet that this is going to only attract more capital. They're 2 years late to launching a Bitcoin ETF. You'd expect that they want some really good gains. And only, I think, really, Bitcoin is the only thing that could actually follow through with their wants. And again, as we noticed, as we highlighted, the fact that Morgan Stanley launched their Bitcoin ETF now at potentially the bottom of this bear market, again, huge potential. I think that is a lot of signal and maybe a direction of what institutions think. They wouldn't be launching an ETF product currently at this very moment with all of the quantum FUD, which now seems to have been dying down because it looks like some Bitcoin developers figured out how to make Bitcoin quantum resistant, at least in theory. You'd think they wouldn't even want to launch a product. But no, they do, because they also believe, like we believe, that Bitcoin is going to go up, that this is going to be the best performing asset, that this is going to give you the best returns, that their clients are craving this type of product. If that doesn't tell you where we are, I really don't know. But anyways, we got this interesting tweet here from Fong Li. Of course, he's the CEO of Strategy. And here's his take in regards to this clip. He goes, well done, Amy at Morgan Stanley. I'm enjoying watching the Morgan Stanley Bitcoin Trust and Stretch drive Bitcoin demand together. Remember what Saylor said at the beginning of the week. He basically said, hey, sorry, guys, 4-year cycle's over. The plebs are no longer in control, or rather, retail is no longer in control. What is going to drive the Bitcoin price is this institutional capital. And here we are. And this does seem to be the case currently happening. Now, again, just looking at the Morgan Stanley Bitcoin Trust or the Morgan Stanley Bitcoin ETF, just looking at their inflows won't account for the amount of capital going into Bitcoin. It won't amount for the price going up to roughly 73K. It's probably like 72.8 right now. I haven't actually checked currently before I went live. So what is really driving this? And to be honest, I've been saying this all week. My mind's been blown all week by seeing what is going on with Stretch. And Fong Lee, I think, is hitting the nail on the head. It is the institutional capital right now that is really driving the price of Bitcoin. I've been saying this for a couple of weeks now, actually, maybe even months. Actually, I think it was towards the end of the year where I was sitting here on the show like, guys, maybe retail is not driving the price anymore. Maybe we are just sitting back, putting on our seatbelts, and just letting institutional capital whipsaw us. For better or worse, the institutional money, I like using capital, flowing into Bitcoin is really the driver of price. Now, I know people will... I'm sorry. I'm hearing JJ. Hold on. JJ's coming into my speaker from Rumble, and he's telling me this is just proving that Bitcoin has been captured by Wall Street, Opti. What are you talking about? I don't think so. It just means that, yeah, we're seeing more capital come from Wall Street than all of our buys combined. Does that mean they control Bitcoin? Does that mean they captured Bitcoin? No. But there is concerns of huge centralized holdings of Bitcoin. But does that fundamentally mean that they control the Bitcoin network? Not at all. The two do not mean the same thing. But what we are seeing is that they want to corner the market. They want as much of this thing as possible. And in reality, the only way that you can actually fight against this, it's very simple. You need to buy more Bitcoin. That's the only thing we can do. If you're buying the Bitcoin and taking that Bitcoin into self-custody, then there's less Bitcoin for them to control. So the point always remains the same. You need to keep buying Bitcoin. If you don't like this happening, then there's only one way to fight against it, and that's buying more Bitcoin, okay? Anyways, I've been rambling. Yeah, exactly. Intrabellum gets it. Intrabellum totally gets it in the chat on YouTube. Anyways, let's jump over and talk about Stretch right now. And I really feel as if I'm a broken record this week, because what we've been seeing from Stretch in the, not just this week, but the last 2 weeks, last couple of weeks, is truly mind-blowing. It's absolutely insane. It's incredible what we're watching happen right now with Stretch. And I have seen some funny tweets of people kind of I don't know, throwing some shade at Stretch and Sailor recently, which, hey, I love I love some good satire, and it's been good. It's been hitting, you know. Matt Odell did one. Magoo did one today. It's good stuff, guys. It's good stuff. Anyways, over here on BitcoinTreasuries.net, this was posted 10 hours ago. I do have the updated number, which makes this story even crazier. Headline, Strategy STRC buys an estimated 8,000 Bitcoin in just this week. In this week alone, and remember last week, on a short week, they bought about 3,000 Bitcoin. I think since the start of the year, they've bought in like 100,000 Bitcoin. Not just in the Stretch product, but just from Strategy itself. We have one player in the space that is basically buying all of the Bitcoin. I keep telling you the numbers. Actually, I have the Twitter account. If you guys want to follow along on this, let me pull it up real quick, and you'll just start to see what the tweets I've been seeing in the morning that are just absolutely insane. These are the tweets that I've been seeing straight off in the morning. Look at this. Stretch just absorbed 102% of today's Bitcoin mining supply, 5th straight day of full absorption. Literally in an hour, Stretch from MicroStrategy is buying up more Bitcoin than all of the Bitcoin that is being mined a day. They've been doing this for a week straight. How much longer can capital flow into Stretch? Well, literally infinite. Well, I wouldn't say infinite, but trillions, if not tens of trillions. This is what we're seeing happen right now. This is why I've been really upset that I didn't remember this Twitter account, because if you wake up every morning by 10 o'clock in the last week or so, you see these tweets and you're like, Sailor or Stretch, or, you know, the capital that's being attracted to Stretch is buying up all of the Bitcoin a day. Now, of course, most people are like, then why is the price going down? Well, you got to remember, it's not just the daily mined Bitcoin supply that hits the market. There are sellers out there, and we haven't had any updates to really pinpoint and say, oh, this is the people that are selling. But we are all asking ourselves one question: who is selling Bitcoin right now? Who in their right mind is selling Bitcoin? And that's probably where the signal is. They're probably not in the right mind. They're probably in a stressed position right now, and they have to get out of it. Bitcoin is the most liquid asset in the world. You can sell it 24/7, 365. If it's the most sellable good when you need capital, you probably sell your Bitcoin. So I'm not going to be surprised if we're seeing more of the smaller Bitcoin treasury companies or OGs, Bitcoin, huge Bitcoin holders selling their Bitcoin currently. Maybe they're in a stressful financial position. But anyways, let's get back to this article here. And you can see Strategy's preferred stock vehicles are back at it again, aggressively driving Bitcoin purchases after another strong week of capital raising. And just like clockwork, the buying momentum has picked up its pace as investors pile in to capture the latest dividends through these innovative digital credit instruments. Again, this was last night, estimated 8,000 Bitcoin, and they had one more trading day. Well, let's see the updated numbers on what they currently bought today. So there's a few different trackers. We got strc.live. This is just a good visual. This one is saying that so far today, Stretch has acquired 1,674.3. It's going up faster. 1,674 I can't even follow it. We're going to go with 1,675 Bitcoin today. Literally there we go. It literally just passed as I was speaking. But if you go over to bitcointreasuries.net, and I don't know how they're tracking this. I don't know what the differential is here, but they are saying an estimated Bitcoin acquisition of 2,746.3 Bitcoin today so far. So depending on the numbers, depending on which tracker we're following, because we won't really know the actual data until about Monday, Sailor this week has acquired more than 10,000 Bitcoin just from Stretch, just from this STRC product. And that doesn't account for the Bitcoin that they're talking about buying and acquiring through just the common stock, MSTR. Doesn't account for, I'm guessing Sailor's probably still buying. It doesn't account for anyone else. Just one product alone has bought 10,000 Bitcoin. It really is absolutely insane. Here we go. Bitcoin Treasury says 10,000 Bitcoin alone this week. More than 94% of all Bitcoin treasury companies hold less than 10,000 Bitcoin, and he just bought that amount in 1 week alone. Just this week. He's buying more Bitcoin than 95% of all of the Bitcoin treasury companies out here. It really is looking like it's going to be a winner-take-all scenario here, and MicroStrategy is the undisputed champ here. Full stop, undisputed champ. I think he's going to get to 1 million Bitcoin sooner rather than later. Now, here's an interesting chart. We have Mark Harvey, and he goes, that Stretch thing might be catching on. We're going to be monitoring the situation. The Stretch 30-day average daily trading volume, it's looking like it's going parabolic, boys and girls. It's looking like it's going parabolic. So that's just covering in the last few days the amount of institutional interest into Bitcoin or Bitcoin related products. That's just one half of this equation. The amount of buying going on. Obviously, there's a variable here that we are unaware of, is how much selling is actually going on. We won't really know that unless it's a big name or it's a big corporation or a public company and they have to, release that information. We won't know for a little bit. But in the last couple of days, since the price is a little bubbly, it is a little frothy out there. We got the 73K. I know everyone's thinking that we're going to go lower. We're going to be in a bear market until October. I don't know about you guys, but I'm feeling a little bullish here. And if this continues, literally, I said it a couple of times on the show. It really feels like Michael Saylor is single-handedly saving us from a prolonged bear market. And then you add the institutional interest from Morgan Stanley, BlackRock, any of the other ETFs, sovereign wealth funds that we don't know that are acquiring Bitcoin, potentially the Clarity Act passing, which, hey, actually, I wasn't going to bring this up. And before I give you the third variable in this equation, guys, Senator Lummis said exactly what I've been saying this morning about the Clarity Act. So let me pull that up real quick. I saw Bitcoin Magazine tweet this. So if the Clarity Act does pass, that's another positive, in our coattails, if that's the expression. Dude, I'm so bad at expression. Anyways, this is what Senator Lummis said this morning, which is echoing what I've been saying on the show in regards to the Clarity Act. This is Senator Lummis this morning via Bitcoin Magazine. And she goes, we need to pass the Clarity Act now. Quote, this is our last chance to pass the Clarity Act until at least 2030. We can't afford to surrender America's financial future. Does that not sound exactly what I've been telling you guys? If this doesn't pass by April, I'm going to guess that it's not going to pass by June or July. And that's when they start taking recesses, in Congress. That's when they start doing their July 4th break. August is a whole month of being off. By the time they come back, the midterms are going to be in full swing. Clarity Act's probably going to get put on the back burner. So the clock is ticking. But the general sentiment is that when the Clarity Act, or rather, if the Clarity Act passes, then even more capital is going to come on the table. And if it happens sooner rather than later, or rather, if it happens at all, then I think it's very safe to say that we probably won't be in a bear market till October. But don't tell Nico. Don't tell Nico, because that's his favorite sentiment right now. All right, now, what is the third variable, the third factor that I think is happening that is accounting for the fabled supply shock that we've all been waiting for? Or hoping for, might be a better way of putting it. Well, I don't know if you guys have been watching, but have you been watching what's going on the Bitcoin on exchanges? Now, there is a bit of contention here on how these trackers follow Bitcoin on exchanges. I don't really know what their back end looks like, but the general debate here, and you guys know our boy Luke Mikic, he is a hardcore supply shock Bitcoin on exchanges, is telling us all the story. Then we have the other Australian on the other side, Checkmatey and Sani. And there's one other one that I'm blanking right now, where they're constantly saying the amount of Bitcoin hardly ever changes. It goes from 3 to about 2 million Bitcoin on average. Though the distinction here is that the Checkmatey Sani side, they usually track all of the Bitcoin that is held in Coinbase Premium or Coinbase Prime as still being on the exchanges. So, which, from what we know from GameStop and the Coinbase release, could potentially be the case. But the idea is that all of the Bitcoin custody in Coinbase is still considered, quote, on the exchanges. And so these numbers really don't mean anything. The Luke side, and I'm kind of with Luke on this one, we shouldn't be counting that Bitcoin that is held in Coinbase Premium or Coinbase Prime as, quote, Bitcoin on exchanges. So that's the main contention. Now, I don't really know what like CoinGlass or Crypto Quant is doing on the back end and what they're actually factoring, but the trend remains the same. The trend is what I want to hit on here. And as you can see, the trend here on CoinGlass of Bitcoin on exchanges is steadily declining. Now, obviously, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to go that much lower, because this is my point of contention with the Bitcoin on exchange idea or theory is at any Bitcoin price, more Bitcoin can hit the exchanges and these numbers are moot. But we are seeing a trend here where a lot of Bitcoin is being drained from exchanges. So does that mean Saylor's buying all of them and it's going to his custody and they're not rehypothecating that Bitcoin? Does that mean more people are waking up to taking Bitcoin into self-custody? Hopefully that is the case. Are we seeing, a lot less selling on the exchanges? Are the whales, the OGs, the tourists finally exhausted? They finally have no more Bitcoin to sell. If these are the case, and there's no more Bitcoin to sell and Bitcoin's going to start leaving the exchange, what's the only way that people are going to be incentivized to sell their Bitcoin? The price of Bitcoin has to go up. So this is CoinGlass. And actually, let me look at their numbers, because I think there is a little bit of a discrepancy between CoinGlass and Crypto Quant, which I'm going to show you. So the total balance as of yesterday is 2.45 million Bitcoin on the exchanges. And here's Crypto Quants, which is the same trend. It's draining. And the numbers they have here are roughly 2.7 million on Bitcoin exchanges. So you can see there's a discrepancy between a lot of these exchange trackers, Bitcoin balance trackers. And I don't know what the difference is. I don't have insights into what they're doing or what their back end is or what their APIs are. But the general trend, I think, is your friend. The trend is your friend. There is a lot of Bitcoin that is being drained from the exchanges. Now, we don't know the mechanism. We don't know what is the cause of this. But what we do know is what I keep telling you. We do know Stretch, Strategy, Morgan Stanley, BlackRock, the ETFs at large, they are attracting a lot of capital. There could be a lot of capital waiting on the sidelines for this Clarity Act to pass. And what we do know is there is a lot of capital, a lot of dollars sitting on the sidelines trying to figure out what's going on with the Middle East right now, trying to figure out if there's still a war, is there a ceasefire, where can I deploy my capital? Am I going to need cash because oil is going to get so crazy that I'm going to live in a Mad Max world where, I need dollars to survive? And then it looks like Bitcoin is leaving exchanges. Are we seeing? And at the same time, Bitcoin is going up to 73K. It's getting frothy out here. I don't know. I'll be honest. I'm looking at the information, and you know me, I'm an optimist. I'm as bullish as they come. I always look at what we're seeing in the data with, rosy colored lens, with orange colored lens. I'm always looking for information to tell me, hey, this is bullish. There's other people that look for the negatives. I just don't work that way. But the price action I'm seeing, the amount of Bitcoin that's being drained, or rather vacuumed up by Stretch alone, and then the continuation of new vehicles for institutions to buy Bitcoin, you could argue maybe they're not actually buying Bitcoin, and paper Bitcoin summer is just bigger than ever. And seemingly Bitcoin being drained from exchanges. I don't know, guys. Are we seeing the mother of all supply shock? Yeah, no, down under. That's basically my big contention. So down under goes, that doesn't necessarily mean the coins are available for sale. They are just on the exchanges. I totally agree with you on that one. Though, again, remember the GameStop filing that said they gave Coinbase a permission to rehypothecate that Bitcoin. So I think it's safe to say that doesn't necessarily mean that all of that Bitcoin is being resold. But there's a potential. And maybe that's a happy medium between the checkmatey Sonny camp of all the Bitcoin on exchanges is being factored in, and there's really not that much Bitcoin leaving the exchanges, and the Luke side where it's like you can't count that Bitcoin. Bitcoin is being drained from the exchanges. I'm somewhere in the middle. I think both are making valid points here, but what I am seeing is Bitcoin start to get a little bubbly, guys. It kissed 73 again yesterday. Or was it this morning? This morning, it's done it the last 2 days. We are starting to get to a price level that is very interesting and everyone is watching. If we get above 75, say if we get into 80 soon, I don't know. I think it's pretty safe to say that the bull market is back on the table. That's all I'm saying. Opti, let's talk Lightning Network advances like Bolt 12 and Nostr, Bolt 13 and Fedimint. Yeah, I'd have to look into that. I'm not fully updated on everything going on Lightning. I think I think the distractions are working on me. Okay. So I'll look into that over the weekend for you, Satwise. And if I can sort of eloquently talk about it, I will talk about it. All right. Let's see. There are still Bitcoin holders who don't have cold. That's true. I agree with that. Anyways, all right. Let's keep it moving. So I'm gonna sneak another news story in for you guys on the numbers, because I don't know if you guys saw the Wall Street Journal piece about the Strait of Hormuz. But it literally took 2 days for exactly what Nico and I were talking about when we initially got the Financial Times article about the IRGC wanting to get paid in Bitcoin happen. Dude, literally 48 hours striking time. Like, it's so obvious once you understand what's going on. And then I do have an update for you guys on the Roman Storm case. Finally got an update. It's not the best news. It's not the worst news yet. Okay. So we got a full breakdown of people that were at the court. This is the general sentiment. And then, guys, it's Friday. So you know what that means? It's not going to be a meme. I know you guys are going to throw tomatoes. It's not a meme. But I'm going to end the show a little bullish. We're going to do some astrology. We're going to do some tarot card reading. Okay. All right, guys. That's the show for today. I'll be right back.
Today's episode is brought to you by Bitcoin Well Infinite. If you're a serious Bitcoin buyer, you've probably hit the same wall. Most platforms make you give up custody just to play by the rules. Bitcoin Well Infinite fixes that. They're North America's only publicly traded, non-custodial OTC desk listed on the TSX Venture Exchange, which means transparent operations and zero counterparty risk.
You buy Bitcoin, you take immediate control, period. For trades over $50,000, you get a dedicated executive Bitcoin advisor, competitive spread starting at 1%, and immediate delivery straight to your own wallet. No custody risk, no withdrawal fees, just institutional grade execution with full asset control. If you want to buy Bitcoin the right way, book a free consultation at bitcoinwell.com/OTC or email infinite@bitcoinwell.com.
I want to give a shout out to our partner, Stampseed. Is your Bitcoin in cold storage really secure? Are your seed phrases really secure? Stampseed's do-it-yourself kit has everything you'll need for you to hammer your seed words into commercial-grade titanium plates, instead of just writing them down on paper. Paper is fragile. Titanium plates are strong. Your words are actually stamped into the titanium plate with this hammer and these letter stamping tools. Once the words are in, they aren't going anywhere. No risk of the plate breaking apart and pieces falling everywhere. Titanium stamp seeds will survive nearly triple the heat produced by a house fire. They're also crush-proof, waterproof, non-corrosive, and time-proof. And now you can customize your titanium seed plates. You can upload your design or logo, and they will laser engrave it on the back of your seed plate, the opposite side of where the words are. Stamp your seed on Stampseed and use promo code SIMPLY to get 15% off anything on the stampseed.com store.
The chat's funny. 250K by 7 p.m. Elaine, I'm sorry. I don't mean to torture you guys about the meme. Actually, maybe I do. Because I said it was going to be a Good Friday. Well, Good Friday was last week, but I said it was going to be a Good Friday. And I know when I say that, you guys think it means memes. I mean, technically, you could say this is a meme. All right. It might be a meme Friday. Okay. Anyways, the current Bitcoin price is 72,930. Oh, dude, guys. Wait. Do we 1 minute chart real quick? Hold on. Let's see. Guys, we might be. Oh, wait. Bitstamp 7 saying 73. I think we're back up at 73. Minute charts looking bullish. Okay, guys. We're gonna say Bitcoin's at 73,000 right now, okay? And the decline from all-time high is roughly 42%, so 42% discount. The market cap is 1.46 trillion, and the block height is 944,494. Okay, so no video today for the numbers. Maybe this numbers is us. The numbers is it only took 48 hours for this to come to fruition. And what am I talking about? Well, we saw this on Twitter yesterday, and it is a post from the Wall Street Journal. And it goes, Iran is demanding that oil tankers passing through the Strait of Hormuz pay a toll in cryptocurrency, highlighting its importance to the Iranian regime and economy. Iran's $7.8 billion crypto economy finds new way to grow after ceasefire. Tentatively bullish, right? You're like, okay, hey, we're finally sort of getting some good, favorable coverage. Well, let's check some of these screenshots here. Here's the first one. And it goes, quote, Iran's decision to charge tanker transit tolls in cryptocurrency is the latest example of how Iranian crypto activity is increasingly dominated by the state. Uh-oh, it sounds like JJ. It sounds like Rumble. It sounds like Rumble's JJ wrote this for the Wall Street Journal. The IRGC, Iran's strongest political and economic force, as well as its proxies, accounted for more than half of the country's crypto activity, according to Chainalysis. Going further, the paramilitary Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps has been among the most active users on Iran's cryptocurrency market, often straining the country's scarce electricity resources to mine Bitcoin, said a professional Bitcoin trader in the center city of Isfahan. Going further, quote, analysts and researchers say the Iranian regime has used billions of dollars in cryptocurrencies to conduct trades, acquire weapons and commodities, and stockpile funds. At the same time, digital currencies have also offered a financial lifeline for everyday Iranians who have battled high inflation and the collapse of their home currency, the Iranian rial. Now, let me pop over to what was posted on Yahoo Finance. And this is titled, Iran reportedly accepts crypto and the yuan for Strait of Hormuz shipping tolls. Now, I'm not going to read this whole thing, their coverage of this. Look what it says at the very end. And this is what Nico and I were saying on, I believe it was Wednesday. Quote, actually, we'll go up. Let me see. We suspect the stablecoin preference rather than Bitcoin or the mother of all shitcoins is operationally rational. Stablecoins eliminate price volatility between invoice and settlement, making them functionally equivalent to dollar wire transfers for the receiving party while remaining nominally outside the dollar clearing system. Quote, and this is the big quote, this is precisely the architecture that OFAC has been attempting to close through pressure on stablecoin issuers, and precisely why the Hormuz toll mechanism, if it scales, creates direct enforcement pressure on Tether and Circle. Now, yes, in the Yahoo Finance article, they're talking about stablecoin, but the Wall Street Journal article is really doing what we said was going to happen, and they're painting Bitcoin as, you know, helping criminals skirt sanctions. Oh, we got Brian here today. All right, Brian. Dude, I didn't look at my schedule. My bad, bro. Actually, I'm gonna bring you in. I'll update you real quick. We'll bring you in real quick. Yo, it's all good. No, that was my fault. Guys, all right, my bad. I guess we're not doing some TA for you guys. Brian, all right, look. First of all, let me update you on where we were right now. Yeah, you popped in 5 minutes early, but I'm going to pop you in now because I like your takes. So, what we saw on Wednesday, I believe that that's the date, is, as you're probably aware, Iran, IRGC said they want to get the Strait of Hormuz toll payments in Bitcoin. And on the show, when we covered this, me and Nico went on a huge rant about, guys, this is not as bullish as it seems. Yes, it is a bullish news story, a bullish development, like Bitcoin is the real winner in the ceasefire. But what we're going to see very soon is that the mainstream media is going to come out and start painting Bitcoin in a bad light. And I don't know if you saw this Wall Street Journal article, but they're literally doing that exact thing. You know, Iran crypto activity is increasingly dominated by the state. They're using Bitcoin to skirt sanctions. They're using too much electricity. They're hoarding a lot of cryptocurrency. And then here at the very end is where, like, the real signal is. At the same time, digital currencies have also offered a financial lifeline for everyday Iranians. Here we got Pierre Rochard. Authoritarian governments and the civilians they oppress both use Bitcoin. Bitcoin is for enemies. And like, Bitcoin really is the big winner here. Whoa, hold on. Bitcoin really is the big winner in regards to the ceasefire in the Middle East. And now we're seeing that the mainstream media is doing whatever they can to make it seem like Bitcoin is a bad thing because the bad guys use it. Little do they know that our biggest meme is Bitcoin is for enemies. So what's your general take on this? I don't know if you read the whole Wall Street Journal article, but I'm sure you're not surprised. I think you and I have had these conversations on the show before, and here we are. It's happening like in real time. 48-hour striking time here, and we already called it. Like, before the week ended, we already called what was going to happen. It's so predictable.
Right. The recurring theme is that we just need to be able to get past the immediate. The news cycle is immediate. People's memories are 48 hours. Like we, if anything ever seems negative for Bitcoin in the short term, just understand that the tenets and the principles of Bitcoin are lasting and permanent. And so this too shall pass. And any of the negative sentiment is temporary. The positive is always good. Think about this. And it's like any of the Trump haters out there that also hated Bitcoin because Trump was a proponent of it, it's now going to give like somehow like a positive associations for people who don't like Trump. Or you're right. So every time we shift in the market and groups of people can have a little taste of Bitcoin of, oh, maybe this is a good thing because it's skirting something Trump wants to do, or maybe this is a good thing because it's helping the little guy, even though it might be an evil regime somewhere. Like, every time we get a little bit of rub into different pockets of people, it has a lasting effect. And we know that Bitcoin is eventually going to permeate to everybody. This is how it gets there. It gets there through nefarious means, right? Like the old adage of, look where technology goes. It always starts in something dirty and then goes to something clean. Like, why do we know the internet was going to be big? Because it adopted, pornography. And it was basically like, we knew that because it had a dirty component to it, it could be used for good as well. Why do we know that gunpowder was going to be big? Because it had a dirty component to it. It was the criminals that used it, and then the good guys used it as well. If it's a powerful enough tool for the bad guys, it is going to be a powerful enough tool, and it needs to be adopted by the good guys. And that just plays out every time in history. And so whether that happens now or later, it's going to have the same outcome. And just remember this, is that we are still in the early adopter phase. The reason why people are uncomfortable with the volatility of perception around Bitcoin is because we've been led to believe that because the BlackRocks and all those entities are here now, that we're somehow in the late adopter phase, or that we're in the status quo phase for Bitcoin. We are not there yet. This is the early adopter phase. And that's why we feel what we feel. So if you ever longed to be one of those Bitcoin OGs, guess what? If you're in Bitcoin right now, you are a Bitcoin OG. It's just, this is what it feels like.
Damn. It must have been so hard to be in Bitcoin in like 2010. You're literally what, 15 years ahead of everyone. I was covering this yesterday. I don't know if you saw the Charles Schwab is announcing they're going to do spot trading soon. Mm-hmm. And I might have told you that. Sorry guys, I've rehashed the story a lot of times on the show, but this is, it fits into the context of this. My Bitcoin story starts with, I went to Charles Schwab in like 2016. This is before like Robinhood was around and you can do like dollar trading on Cash App and all that stuff. And I remember going in thinking, okay, what do rich people do? They buy stocks. So maybe I should get, a trading account. I walked in, I had $250 at the time. I was broke. I was like, I wasn't a college kid, but I was a broke beach bum basically. And I go to Charles Schwab and I'm like, hey, I want to start trading. They're like, cool, that's awesome. Congratulations, you're a young, smart guy. I'm like, all right, cool. They're like, how much money do you want? Or how much money do you want to deploy? I'm like, $250. They're like, yeah, sorry. You need $2,500 to even open an account. And I'm like, oh, okay. Thank you for making me feel poor and humbling me. And I walked out and, lived my life. And then shortly thereafter, I believe within like a 6-month period, I found Bitcoin. And now 10 years later, Charles Schwab's getting into Bitcoin. And it's just like, it was one of those moments where I can pat myself on the back and be like, see, I was smarter than that financial advisor that kicked me out of that door because now they finally get it. It just took them 10 years, but yeah, it's hard. I wouldn't consider myself an OG though.
Well, these are like our the stories we got from our grandpas. The one that was like, I had to walk 9 miles to school uphill both ways. Like these are the stories that we're telling the grandkids in 2040 or 2050 or whatever that is. Like, it's I got kicked out of Charles Schwab because I was too poor. I only had Bitcoin to my name.
No, I didn't even have Bitcoin to my name then. Well, I literally had $250 to my name. It was, it's literally, that is actually, I'm going to have to reframe that for the grandchildren. Well, first, I think I need children so I can have grandchildren, but hey, in time, guys, the story, I got some time to work on my storytelling abilities in my day, I got kicked out of Charles Schwab because I was too broke. And then I bought Bitcoin and then they bought Bitcoin 10 years later. So grandpa's a legend. Anyway, let's keep it moving so that we can get some time to chat with Brian DeMint at the end of the show. Quick commercial break. We'll be right back.
I want to give a shout out to our partner, Ledin. Here's something most Bitcoin holders never figure out until it's too late. You're sitting on wealth you can't touch without selling. Ledin fixes that. Bitcoin-backed loans. You keep your stack, you get cash. And they just introduced their lowest rates ever. No complexity, no fine print. The larger the loan, the lower the rate. These new rates apply to all new loans, refinances, and renewals. You'll see all the rates up front before you apply. The new, lower rates come with Ledin's gold standard protection. Your Bitcoin remains custodied and is never lent out for interest. Perfect 8-year track record of keeping clients' assets safe. Auto top-ups, LTV alerts, and partial repayments to keep you in control. Repay whenever you want with zero penalties or monthly payments. Ledin's perfect $10 billion track record through every market cycle in the last 8 years speaks for itself. Don't choose between a great rate and the safety of your Bitcoin. Get both at Ledin. I want to give a shout out to our partner, BitKey. If you already self-custody your Bitcoin, you already know the deal with hardware wallets by now. Complex setups, clumsy interfaces, and a seed phrase that can be lost, stolen, or forgotten. BitKey fixes that. BitKey is a multi-sig hardware wallet built by the team behind Square and Cash App. It packs a cryptographic recovery system and built-in inheritance feature into an intuitive, easy-to-use wallet with no seed phrase to sweat over. It's simple, secure, self-custody without the stress. Time named BitKey one of the best inventions of 2024. Get 20% off at bitkey.world. That's BITKEY.world with the code SIMPLY.
Wait, guys. Yo, JJ, you're funny. JJ on Rumble goes, hey, Opti, so do you have $2,500 now? And I respond, no, I still don't have $2,500. And then he goes, he had $2,500, but now it's $1,250. Shake my head. Yeah. Yeah, dude, my $2,500 net worth just got cut in half. That was a good one, JJ. I'll give you that one. All right, guys. So as I was covering yesterday for you guys, there was an update on the Roman Storm tornado cash case. And the latest update, guys, since we didn't get this till later in the evening, is that there was no acquittal yesterday for Roman Storm. So where I left you off on yesterday's show was that they were still deliberating over whether there was going to be an acquittal or not. They took like a 4-hour delay. Maybe it was a little longer. I don't know the time frame, but as of close of yesterday, there is no acquittal yet, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he wasn't acquitted, or rather denied the acquittal. It just means it seems like they are still deliberating. So again, I love The Rage at The Rage Tech on Twitter. They're doing great coverage. Highly recommend you follow them if this is stuff that you are into. They seem to be like the only ones that are really covering this stuff. And it goes, no acquittal for Storm today. Will Roman Storm be freed? After a much anticipated hearing on the Tornado Cash developers' motion for acquittal, we still don't know. Judge Falia again appeared to treat the raised constitutional issue stepmotherly, but did still not seem convinced whether the Southern District of New York had proven to have jurisdiction over Storm's case. Meanwhile, the prosecution appeared to continue to struggle to lay out how Tornado Cash actually works, which is one of the things we constantly say. It's absolutely insane that we are in this position right now, and the people that are supposedly going to find us guilty or not guilty don't even understand how the tech works. But that's a totally other conversation. I saw this other interesting tweet here about someone that was in the court case, and I think there is a lot of signal in this one. So this is Amanda Tuminelli, and she goes, leaving the hearing on Roman Storm's motion for acquittal, the only thing that was clear to me is that the government still does not understand the tech at issue. The lack of nuance, the misrepresentations about how a user interface functions, and the equivocation between different technologies is really disheartening at this point in the case. The arguments that the Southern District of New York advanced at this hearing on the application of Section 1960 are limitless and dangerous for all software developers. It was good to see the judge digging in and asking detailed questions, but there is no way to predict how she will rule on Storm's motion. Given that she was focused on dates for retrial at end of 2026, I think we can expect to see the case continue. So obviously not the results that we wanted and want to see, because we really, don't throw tomatoes. Yes, it's an Ethereum mixer, but privacy wars are in full effect here. And we have currently seen some casualties of that. I actually saw a really good tweet. I think it was what's his name? Econochemist. I forget. He's a privacy advocate. And he quote tweeted Senator Lummis. It's kind of a brutal quote tweet. Senator Lummis said something on the lines of the most pro Bitcoin administration ever, and he quote tweets, with the highest convictions on privacy developers, like the highest conviction of developers. So I've been making the case, guys. It's not the most favorable thing to talk about, but yes, we are seeing from the federal level this seemingly positive push for Bitcoin. But when it comes to the DOJ and certain courts, they are attacking developers. The open source development ecosystem, I think the morale is very low right now, because we still really don't know where we stand in terms of, are you responsible for the software you create if it's open source, and what people use that software for? Currently, with the convictions and the precedent that we have, it's very clear that if someone uses your software as the developer, even if it is open source, you are completely, almost 100% responsible for how people use that software, which is not a good precedent. This is not a good place to be, especially considering Bitcoin is open source software. It's a dangerous place to be right now. So we are currently in the privacy wars, and where we are is not a good place. So there's still hope that this ends up well, but in the current moment, it doesn't seem like it will. I guess The only positive out of this is that the judge, like I said yesterday, isn't just trying to fit the evidence to find the result that she wants. It seems like maybe this judge is actually trying to understand what exactly is going on. So baby steps on education, baby steps on people understanding, but maybe there's some light here that, okay, they're actually trying to understand what's going on. But again, it might not end how we want it to. And this might just be another casualty in the privacy wars. But hey, that's the update. I told you guys I would update on this. Brian, I don't know if you want to chime in on this. You're muted just for your, yeah. So if you want to chime in on this, we can totally do that. If not, we can pop in and we'll do a culture. And
just, I mean, one question to kick back to you. Do you think that this has anything to do, not necessarily with Bitcoin open private? I do think the DOJ is always going to want to put its talons into money systems, right? Because that just makes their job easier, right? Instead of trying to go find the drugs, you just go to the source, you get the money. I get that. But do you think that any of this pressure is coming from the Anthropics and the open AIs who are trying to enforce against open source AI development, and to put a precedent out there that open source, your open clause, things that could be developed, and then crimes that could be committed with your open source AI software would also have a precedent for developers of that open source software to kind of be in trouble for it? Because that would probably put the toothpaste back in the tube a little bit for some of these open source developers on the AI side of things.
Yeah, I totally didn't even account for the AI, I guess we could call it like lobbying group, but I mean, there's a non-zero chance, from my opinion. I think that's a fair assumption to make, that that's probably what we're seeing. I mean, I don't know. I'm really, then the reason I probably haven't thought about this that much, Brian, is because I don't really follow the AI stuff too much. I'm not the biggest AI guy. Like, we use AI, you know, I use AI more like a glorified search function. We use AI a little bit for Simply Bitcoin. Well, me personally, just a little bit. Whenever I'm feeling uncreative, you know, I'm like, hey, help me on this title. And that's like that's about as much as I really use AI. Yeah. But what we have seen is exactly what you said. The Anthropic guys, or company CEO, or I guess just the entity that is Anthropic, we have seen them fighting the open sourcing of AI, you know, in general. And what was it? Wasn't that last week where they were like arresting people or make it like sending charges to people because they leaked their own code? And then within like a couple of hours, it was open source. And they're like, if anyone uses this, you're completely cut out. So, I mean, I think that is a very, very real possibility. My general take on this is more on the lines, it is a little more like political left versus right, kind of, you know, maybe more of a mainstream normie perspective, that I just think what we're seeing right now is there is a general pushback from people, you know, in these ABC agencies like the DOJ, et cetera, that don't want to see Trump succeed or do anything good. And they're just fighting anything that Trump is doing. That's kind of where I would have taken it. But I'd like this idea of the AI. I think it's an interesting possibility. But for me, it was just like, I just don't think that everyone that is in the DOJ, or even especially at the Southern District of New York, is seeing what Trump is doing. And they're like, yeah, we're going to fully endorse this Bitcoin superpower of the world. They're like, I'm just going to ideologically fight anything that Trump wants to do and make examples of that. And that's kind of the general trend that I was taking.
Yeah, and it's pretty wild how many landmark cases that have been tried over the last couple of years are in the Southern District of New York. Like, it's like everything is just boom, like that group of judges decide a lot of our fate.
Wait, want to find out? He's like, sure, Opti, blame the clickbait on AI. I said sometimes, okay? I said sometimes. Most of the clickbait is coming from a human brain, okay? But sometimes I'm a little burnt out. Yeah, well, back to what you said, Brian. One of the interesting kind of statistics is, I don't have the number on the top of my head. I'm sure the chat will fact check me right now, but it's like over 90% of the court cases that are brought to SDNY, the Southern District of New York, they get the results that they wanted, which is basically like if it ends up at the Southern District of New York, you're probably in a lot of shit and it's not going to go the way you want to, because they're pretty much doing I don't want to say like Banana Republic trials here, but like they know the result, and that's why they take those cases and they try them there, is because they know it's a favorable court for, I don't know how you want to call it, but like enemies of freedom, or, you know, enemies of the people. It doesn't seem like they are really doing the judicial work that they should be doing. It seems like they take it there because they know that they're going to get the result they want. So yeah, very disheartening. And it just so happens that all of the Bitcoin stuff is being tried there, which I think it might go into what I was saying. It really just feels like a lot of the people in power in the institutions, it's not a monolith. I think we always forget, like, they're not all in cahoots. They're not all in a Telegram. They're not all on Club Orange coordinating, you know, what's going to happen and what the results are going to be and how we're going to really trash the little guy. But
sweet sweet Southern District of New York group chat on Club Orange.
Exactly. You know, it's not like all the bad guy politicians are in a group chat coordinating, though. Maybe the lobbyists are, you know, like if you understand politics a little bit, maybe the lobbyists that go to the politicians are, and hey, paychecks are paychecks, and politicians don't get paid very well. So that's kind of where I leave my hat on. But anyways, I'm rambling. Let's jump into the culture, guys. And we're going to talk with our boy, Brian DeMint, about Club Orange. We'll be right back.
I want to give a shout out to our partner, HIVE Digital Technologies. Fueled by clean energy, HIVE has quadrupled its global Bitcoin mining footprint and channels that same scale into high performance compute, where their AI cloud is now ranked #1 in the world for network performance. At HIVE, you've got dual engines, Bitcoin and AI humming, roaring, accelerating in unison. They're lean and mean, they're green and clean, and they're rewriting the playbook on sustainable digital infrastructure. You can catch the latest buzz at HIVE Digital Tech or at hivedigitaltech.com. I want to give a shout out to our partner, sat123.com. Sovereignty isn't just about your money, it's about your communications too. When the grid goes down, most people go dark. Cell towers fail in hurricanes, cyber attacks, and blackouts. But satellite phones, they don't rely on local infrastructure. Iridium has 77 satellites in orbit, giving you a direct line anywhere in the US, even offshore. If you hold your own Bitcoin keys, you should hold your own comms too. Sat123.com also has everything you need to start building your Bitcoin citadel. Starlink, battery backups, Faraday bags to protect your hardware wallets, and much, much more. It's a one-stop shop for anyone serious about resilience and off-grid independence. Stay connected, stay independent, stay sovereign. Go to sat123.com/simply today and use promo code SIMPLY to get 15% off anything on the store.
Symbol crash. The symbol crash was... It's a little louder right now. I haven't heard that. Anyways. Brian, how you doing, man? How's life? What's new, man? What do you want to chat about? Again, sorry, you know, I didn't check my schedule this morning. I'm like, it's Friday. I'm alone. You know, Nico abandoned me because he's over at BitBlock. Boom. I'm here, you know, crying myself, getting the show ready. And I forgot to check my schedule to realize that I wasn't alone today. I had my boy Brian on the show. So what's up, bro?
Dude, I gotta say, it's pretty fun just like photo bombing the entire show. Like, this was great. I just got in right
in 5 minutes early, but I brought you in 5 minutes early because it's funner that way. It's funner that way.
But no, man, we're prepping for the conference, Bitcoin conference in Las Vegas. Like, everything's, you know, all systems go. We're heading out there soon. It's like I get to host a panel on Bitcoin and longevity. I mean, the fact that I mean, man, we've been going to conferences for a long time, and the fact that the conference is so much more than just like, hey, here's how to cold store your Bitcoin. Like, it's come a long way. And it's permeating out into other areas of life. And so, the panel I'm going to be on is with Pete Evans. He produced the Magic Pill documentary on Amazon Prime. So if you haven't seen that, go watch The Magic Pill on Amazon Prime, or I think it's on YouTube as well for free. But we're just gonna be talking about the intersection of health and Bitcoin. And then obviously we'll be out there in our Club Orange capacity, connecting Bitcoiners at the conference. These conferences are always an insane hub spot for Bitcoin activity. And what we like to facilitate with Club Orange is for the guy that shows up to the conference and there's 15,000 people there or 30,000 people there, and he's surrounded by all these people, and like all day he's like, networking, meeting people, but then after 5 o'clock, he doesn't know where to go. Like, that's the entire point of Club Orange, is that we will connect you with other Bitcoiners. And so when you're in a city with 15, 30,000, whatever it is, 100,000 other Bitcoiners, but you don't know any of them because you don't have any connections with them, like Club Orange literally facilitates that. So that's what we're excited. And to see just the network exploding. We're over 20,000 members on the app right now. While everybody is just sitting by looking at the price of Bitcoin and just hoping it goes up, we see 20,000 Bitcoiners building things. They have Bitcoin businesses that they're exchanging Bitcoin for goods and services. We see people that are creating Bitcoin brands. We see people that are just making, hosting new meetups, all sorts of things. There's so much activity happening. So if anybody's fooled you into thinking that Bitcoin is like dying on the vine, I can assure you, from being at the center of the Bitcoin social layer, that it is alive and well. Like, the diehards are very much alive and well. So if you're going to be in Vegas, it's a great time to connect. If you're not going to be in Vegas, well, guess what? Club Orange will help you find Bitcoiners in your neighborhood where you're at. Opti, are you going to be in Vegas or no?
I still am not totally sure. I don't know. I think I'm going to be strapped to the studio. Wait, pause. I'm going to be stuck in the dungeon here, having to do the show. So I really don't know yet, but I'd like to get out of the studio. It's super hot in here. It's starting to smell like Nico's BO. It's not a good place.
It's got that residual stank.
Yeah.
Well, so on our panel, we're talking, and you're a health maxi too. You're a guy that likes to take care of himself, and so I'm hosting it, so I'm getting to ask these questions to these people, and I think we get 30 minutes to hopefully hit the audience with something that's going to be lasting. And it's like, how do you adjust? What's the lowest hanging fruit in terms of optimizing your health? So for you, when you're talking to people, I imagine that conversation comes up a lot in your Bitcoin conversations, is like the intersection with the health and that sort of thing. And that might be the part that your family listens to you on. Like, even if they don't listen to you on the Bitcoin part, they might listen to you on the health part. But for you, like, what is your number one piece of advice for people on health? Is it like movement? Is it lifting weights? Is it sunshine? Is it like, where do you start with that? Because that's where I want to try and take this panel.
Yeah, well, I do. It's like my health pitch is usually kind of the same as my Bitcoin pitch, in the sense that, it depends on the person I'm talking to, per se. Everyone's got different issues, and people ask you different stuff. And I know what my issues were. I think I was telling you this last time. Like, I had a very bad gut. Like, my gut, intestinal tract was wrecked. And that's probably like the best thing I personally have done in the last couple of months, to really hone in on like my, GI, like my gut tract, my intestinal just health. And that helped me the most. But if someone asks me, and I say it every single day on the show. I always do on the sign off, is like, eat good, get some sun in the morning, make sure you guys are working out, like get your 10K steps in, call your loved ones, and of course, like, buy Bitcoin. It's so, like, for me, it's usually, when I talk to most people, and I tell this to all my friends, it's like 3 basic things. It's like, well, are you working out? Like, I hate working out, but I have to work out because it keeps me somewhat sane, emphasis on the somewhat sane part. Then 10K steps, like, guys, you need to be walking, like, minimum. I think everyone should get some walking, not only for the mental benefits, but obviously it's for the health and longevity. I really like the Jack Cruz, 15 minutes of sunlight right when I wake up. So I do that every morning. I wake up, I get some sun. I try to, also, wait, do I have my phone? I do the, let me see. I do the red light, you know, I'm a red light maxi. And I also, can you guys see it? I have the red light, you know, ship on
Nice.
my phone. So, you know,
Wait, what is that? What is that about? Dude, I'm like in the industry. I don't, is that iPhone? What is that?
Yeah, it's iPhone. So
It's just a setting?
it's like, are you on the new iPhone 7 or 17 or 16,
No,
15 plus?
I'm on the latest software, but yeah, that's, yeah, 16
All right.
plus.
Well, do you have the side button?
Yeah.
All right. So you set it up, and I always forget. I'll tell you how to do it after on the show
Yeah.
because I got to walk you through. But it's basically you set the color shifting on your phone to red, and then you go into your accessibility shortcuts, and then so you just triple press it and it turns into red. It's obviously not like perfect, but it's better. Like I notice it when I'm sitting at home and I'm on Twitter, you know, getting news for the show. Once it starts getting dark, I have only red lights in my apartment, and I should do the red light shift, and I sleep better at night. And so that's, you know, I do the red light stuff. Obviously eat whole foods. You know, I'm kind of on a carb kick right now, so I'm eating more fruits and vegetables, but high protein carbs, like trying to lower the fat. So it's really like move, whether that's just walking, working out, eating well. And then of course, like I'm big on the light. I like the 15 minutes right when I wake up, when I drink my coffee in the morning. It's really maybe a lot more like holistic stuff. But I usually always tell my friend, like my friends will ask me all the time, one, like, how much do you work out? I'm like, I work out like 2 times a week with my boy Sal, you know, the official trainer of Bitcoin, or Simply Bitcoin. I watch my blue light intake because I'm constantly on this show. And you guys don't know, like in the studio, the blue lights literally kill you. Like I feel drained after this show all the time because I think it's just the blue lights. Me and Nico always had this idea where it's like, why are we so tired after the show? And that's before we really started to hear like Jack Cruz stuff. And we're like, I think it's because of the lights. And it's like, it made no sense at first. And now we're like, oh no, the blue lights are literally killing me, guys. Like, it's like, I'm literally killing myself for the show. Okay. But yeah, it's just moving, eating, getting sunlight. And then obviously like the really unsung hero, which I think is very, prominent in the Bitcoin space and very important, is not being chronically online, like taking our in-person relationships seriously. Like I know personally, I'm very notoriously bad, as you guys know and everyone knows, I'm notoriously bad about responding to like text messages and phone calls and stuff. And I can go weeks at a time without like calling my parents or my like really good friends. But every time I call them, it's like, you know, we never skipped a beat. But I've noticed when I find myself stressed and working a lot and I'm isolated, that I get very negative thinking. And then I just call someone that I love and is my best friend. I'm like, oh yeah, people love me. Like I'm not an asshole. Like, oh yeah, I have people that love me. So like, you know, I'm sure there's some science and research to back that up. But yeah, like making sure you're prioritizing your actual human relationships with people. Like that's basically what I usually tell everyone. And it's really not, you know, there wasn't very anything concrete in there that you know, didn't already know, but that's usually where I go. Just like guys, 10K steps, sunlight.
Man, I heard this thing the other day where the guy said, we need to be reminded more than we need to be taught.
Yeah.
And it's like everything you just said, it's like, yeah, like it feels like I'm relearning it. Cause I mean, we talk about this stuff all the time. I mean, I literally like this is part of what we do. And, you know, talking about community and, you know, social connections and all that kind of stuff. But it's like, yeah, there's literally like a health component to being around other people. We think it's just, you know, making friends is just for fun. No. Like you look at these blue zones where people live to 100+ years old. It's like, they're doing literally just all the things that you said. They have an activity. They have, you know, they eat real foods. So because that was the thing, is like, is it vegetarian diet? Is it carnivore diet? It's like, no, it's just like, if it's real food, if it's just real food, like cut out the processed food. And then they all had social connection. So whether their family still visited them or they had a community group or a church group or whatever it was, it's like, that is powerful, man. And so we have the answers right in front of us, but I think it's not boring to have somebody remind us, because we need to be reminded more than we need to be taught. So man, yeah, I appreciate that. And that's a good word.
It's also like, for some reason, while you were just saying that, it's reminding me of like the Bitcoin. Dude, I'm like the, quintessential Bitcoiner. Like it always comes back to Bitcoin, but like the advice that we give every single day, it's like, it's not that sexy. It's like, what should you be doing with your finances? It's like, buy Bitcoin continuously and take that Bitcoin off the exchange. It's like, how many times can you say that without it getting boring? Or maybe it sounds too simple to people. It's like that advice doesn't even, it won't affect my life. It's like that won't push the needle. And you're like, no, but like, that's literally all you have to do. Like, it seems too simple. Yeah. And when you say like what I said, it's just like, dude, just eat good, move your body, 10K steps, or go to the gym, watch the blue lights and look at the sun and call your loved ones. You're like, dude, you literally aren't telling me anything that I don't know. I'm like, yeah, but if you do it consistently, your life will get better. It's one of those intangible kind of, it's not like qualitative. You just like, it just makes your life, you can deal with the stress better. Actually, the other one, guys, figure out ways to lower your cortisol. Don't cortisol spike. Like I notice, I actually, another thing, well, I'll give you a tangible one that I do now. I follow a lot of health Twitter stuff, not just Bitcoiners, but some like, I wouldn't say homeopathic, but health Twitter accounts. And the one thing that I learned that really does help me is in the morning when I take my coffee. I used to drink it black. I'm kind of experimenting with little milk and little sugar so it tastes better. But add L-theanine with your coffee in the morning. Guys, I'm telling you, you have good energy all day. You don't get jittery. Dude, L-theanine with your coffee. I don't drink coffee in the morning without L-theanine, and I'm just like, okay, I'm not too jittery. I feel good. I'm ready to come on the show and lose my mind.
Without the cortisol spike.
Without the cortisol spike. Yeah. We're minimizing cortisol.
Man, I hear that. Oh, I'll throw one out there, dude. I don't know if anybody cares about this at this point, because I think you nailed it. But like, I'm 40 years old now. Still do competitive jiu-jitsu. I have a.
Did you look younger than me though, bro?
Thanks. Thanks, bro. I get too much sun. And so I love telling people, like, they're like, oh man, like, what do you do? I get too much sun. But no, well, like I started introducing, collagen, like a high quality.
I've been meaning to do that
supplement into my diet. And, I take it like with my protein shake or whatever it is, dude. Collagen, it's the most abundant protein in your body. And so it just kind of makes sense that like, if our body's deteriorating, what do I need to do? I need to put the building blocks of my body back in. So whether it's muscles or tendons or skin or whatever it is, collagen builds all of that stuff. So yeah, I mean, like you want a low grade hack. There's a brand called Crucial 4. They have like a farm to table collagen, dude. Like try that one out. That stuff, it's flavorless. It's not gross or anything like that. But man, and it's funny because like half of the stuff that I know from like about health or just like local meetups, man, like the time where you'll go sit around a table and talk about, hey, what's working for you? It's just like, it's this, but if we had 3 or 4 more hours and to tell me why, because then I could tell you like, why did I start collagen? Well, dude, I was tired of getting my butt whooped by the 25-year-old studs that were coming in my gym. Like, it's like, I got to do something to kind of make up for it. Right. And so, we can go through that a little bit more another time, but like, man, the connection part that you talked about is so important, man. I know that like every time that I feel off the beaten path, I've got to find connection with my brother. I got to find like my brother, meaning other dudes. It's so important because no matter how successful or whatever people think we are, like we're so vulnerable to just like losing focus and like getting it twisted. And so we need other people to keep us on the straight and narrow. I think that's probably why that's why I tune into Simply Bitcoin all the time, is like, that's one of my hacks for staying on the straight and narrow, is like Opti's keeping me dialed into Bitcoin. So it's that same thing, but I think that, yeah, personal connection is huge, man. So thank you so much. I might even quote you at the conference. So even if you're not there,
Let's
I'll
go.
say I get to name drop. Hey,
And-
Opti told me this.
And I think, you know, adding on to this, and I don't mean to be like, you know, a misogynist here or whatever, but like, I think as men, like as males, we're very used to, like, it's very masculine to just kind of go through your struggles every day and not complain or tell people about it. And, you know, like if you believe the science, you know, females are a lot more social. And so they're used to having that connection with people. But men, it's very hard for a lot of men to like have that bro code, you know, that like tribe around them and be, I guess, vulnerable enough to be like, dude, like I'm struggling right now, bro. Just like, I don't need you to help me. I just need you to chill out with me.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of guys really do kind of either don't have that or just forget that it's like, yo, it's not being weak to just be like, yo, like I'm struggling today. Like, you know, I'm going to handle my business, but like, I just need my bros to hang out with. And I know I do that all the time, especially now, you know, I'm in Miami. I have Nico and a couple of friends down here, but I miss like my bros in Dallas. And I'll call them up all the time. And I'm like, yo, like, what are you doing? Like, how was your weekend? And they're always like, bro, you got to come back, come hang out with us. And so like, I need that bro time of just like, look, I don't want to talk about Bitcoin or even politics or what's going on in the world. Like I literally just need to hang out with you and just shoot the shit and joke about stuff. And I feel so much better when I do that. So, you know, I think there might be something to us just being like, you know, what's it? The alpha male. Like you can't see me being weak or else I feel like I'm a loser. So we just forget about it. We just forget about that constantly.
Yeah, for sure.
But anyways, man, does Club Orange, are you guys going to have a special party in Vegas that the people should be looking out for?
We're going to have a Tuesday night party. You got to be on Club Orange in order to get the invite. Because we have the ability to mass zap, we're going to be able to just zap a message to everybody in Vegas. If you have a Bitcoin company and you want to get the word out, if you have a party, if you have an after party in Vegas and you want to let everybody know, you can just zap everybody in Las Vegas with geo zapping on Club Orange and let them know. But if you're a Club Orange member, we've got a special gala for you. The event is on Club Orange. So just check the events tab on Club Orange and you'll find it. You'll find the where and the when and how to get in and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, we're gonna have a booth. So come on by and kick it with Mateo and me and the team. We're gonna have, you know, all sorts of guys from the team out. And we'll just be having a good time. I mean, this is what we do. Like in-person connection is super important to us. I just think in an AI culture and a robotics culture that's coming up, the thing that's going to last are connections. Like you cannot fake connections. Everybody can have an AI assistant. We can have somebody that we bounce idea. We can have an AI tool that we bounce ideas off of because we want to reformulate our hooks so they're more clickbaity or whatever it happens to be. But at the end of the day, like you said, that shooting the breeze with a buddy and like coming back down to earth, that only happens with real people in reality. Like that's never going to happen with machine. And I truly believe that like this could be this could be clipped in 10 years and be like, oh, like that's really stupid. I actually I think that's going to age really well. That statement that human connection will not be able to be counterfeit. There will be people that try, and those people are going to like kind of probably lead a pretty miserable existence. And so if you want to get the alpha out of Bitcoin, the alpha is the people. I mean, that's just what it comes down to. Just you connecting with other Bitcoiners, you're going to start out on second base as a friend because you have that connection. So come out, see us in Vegas. We're going to be there. If you guys create any other side events or anything like that, let us know. We will do everything we can to blast it out. If you're doing extra meetups or anything like that, our goal is not to make Club Orange big. Our goal is to make the Bitcoin social layer big. So whatever we can do to facilitate that, that's literally why we exist. We got some really interesting developments coming up with our wallet, talking about privacy and things like that, things that we can't announce until actually next week. But there are some really, really interesting things happening on our developer side. If you have never used Lightning, we have, I would say, the most sophisticated Lightning wallet in the world. There's more functionality in the Club Orange Lightning wallet than on the planet. I believe we were the fastest wallet to get to 1 million transactions. We now have the capability, and we'll probably show this off pretty soon, to break the single day Lightning transaction record. We plan to do about 1 million transactions in a single day here pretty soon because we have the infrastructure for it now. The old adage of like Bitcoin is slow and you can't blah blah blah, all that kind of stuff, we know that's been dead for a while, but now like one wallet can disprove that. Like one wallet, just the Club Orange Lightning wallet, can outpace XRP or Ethereum or any of that kind of stuff. Like Bitcoin is getting so big and so powerful that the people that have built on it, it's not even fair anymore. Like Bitcoin is running away in this race. And so if you have any tie to an altcoin bag or anything like that, which I'm sure people watching this show probably don't, unless
there might be a few. There might be a few.
There might be a few. I'm telling you, that is going to be clearly the worst investment you could make. You're like the reason you might have a few altcoins left.
Always has been.
What's that? It always has
been the worst investment ever.
And it's just it always has been, but like it's just so clear that that's going to be a bad investment choice right now, like going forward, because the tech on Bitcoin is maybe one of the most exciting parts. It's like reaching fruition, and it's not old boomer tech. Like Bitcoin isn't that. The most exciting building is happening on Bitcoin. I'm seeing it firsthand.
Let's go. I do want to add one thing. They were asking about Lightning in the beginning of the show, so I'm glad you brought it up, and I'll get some research on the Lightning stuff. But on the idea of human interaction that I think are also going to be the most important thing, I think we all sort of forget that this social media experiment is still relatively new to humanity. It's been maybe like 20 years at the longest, it's 16, like 2010, maybe when the iPhone came out and Facebook was kind of popular. Like we're still relatively naive in what social media how it will affect our society. And I think as we get more inundated with the social media world, you're starting to see everyone kind of fracture a little bit and be like, look, we're going to use social media. Like for me, for instance, like I need social media for my job. I'm on Twitter constantly, and I notice it literally drives me insane. Like I low key, or actually rather high key, every single day feel I'm on the verge of going insane, and I just have to like put it down my phone and like take a walk or do something, cook some food or call some friends, like the very least use the technology, like FaceTime my bros, like my family. So I truly believe that as we progress in the 2020s into the 2030s, we are going to see kind of I don't want to say like a tradcon movement, because I think that's kind of LARPy, but people are going to come back into meat space as like, this is what really fulfills me. So I totally agree with that.
Yeah,
100%.
And I think like big investors are seeing that. Mateo, if you guys don't know, the founder of Club Orange, he's turned down investment from just like regular firms that understand that in real life is the future. Because we're not a social media company, we're a social network. Like that, like there's all the functionality in Club Orange is so that you get in, make a connection, set up a meeting, and then just get back off the app. Like there's no doom scrolling. You can't go viral or anything like that on Club Orange. It's just to make connections. Well, in the short term, in like a social media culture, that's like not the profitable model. But the big tech guys, the big VCs that are just like fiat minded, they are trying to invest in apps like this that are in real life connection based, because they think that that's 5 years, 10 years from now, that everything will be about making a personal connection. And so like we're not letting the fiat hands come into this pot, because it's just it's got to be Bitcoin centric, because Bitcoiners are the only ones that get that right now. Like you couldn't start TikTok in real life. Like that app could not exist. Bitcoiners are the only ones that are ahead of the curve on the in real life side of things. So,
well, you could dance to music in the middle of the street, but people would just think you're crazy. So it wouldn't work.
People already do that. Yeah, people already do that, and they're called homeless. So,
lol. Wait, before we go though, Brian, there's a good comment. Well, I'm not going to read the whole comment, but on Twitter, Miss A goes, how can I #zap my proof of wellness during Bitcoin conference? I don't know what proof of wellness means, but I think Brian has the perfect app for you.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what proof of. I like the POW. I mean, I like the the acronym.
I think maybe Zap. She just wants to geo-zap people.
Oh,
And I think
yeah.
it's Miss A. I think this is a female, so sorry, but I think that's the question. How can I zap a lot of people? I don't know what proof of wellness means, but
Yeah,
I'm
just gonna show people how easy this is, man. I'm in the app right here. I hit send. I'm just gonna type in. I'll show you in a second. Just type in Las Vegas. Boom. I can't do this backwards.
You had it. There you go.
There we go. Boom. And then I can just zap 21 sats to everybody in Vegas right now. Boom. I could send a message with it too, but boom. I just sent 2,400 sats to everybody in Vegas. So yeah. And imagine like during the conference, that number is going to be a lot larger. So I don't know if you want to send 21 sats to everybody, but it's that easy. You could do that. You could have typed in planet Earth and it'll send to everybody. You could type in North Korea and there's actually a dude in North Korea you can send sats to. So I mean, it's wild.
Wait, maybe we don't recommend that on this show. I don't know.
The show just went black, dude.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know the legalities of this one, but that's not coming from Simply Bitcoin. That's coming from Brian at Club Orange.
Yeah, Astro.
Oh man. All right, Brian. Well, hey man, it's always a pleasure having you on the show. It's always a good time, man. Although I feel like Nico is literally scheduling you when I'm on the show. He's like, dude, I don't know if he likes you anymore. I don't.
Yeah, he's been avoiding me. He owes me money. He's just,
he owes me some Bitcoin.
I actually probably owe him money for real. So,
hey, all right. Yeah, dude, that means you owe me money too.
That's true.
Wait, what are we doing here?
We're here to collect.
Be here, dude. No, Brian, honestly, all jokes aside, I truly appreciate you as a person. Also, guys, when you're in Vegas, make sure you go and meet Brian because this guy's literally 7 feet tall. He's the tallest guy I probably have ever met in my life. Literal like superhuman in the flesh, and he's a Bitcoiner. So Brian, thank you so much for coming on today. But hang out for a minute and I'll try to teach you how to do the red light shift. Guys, if you guys just Google it, you'll figure it out. But anyways, guys, I'll see you on Monday. Have a good rest of your weekend. As always, as I was telling Brian, got to make sure you eat some good food this weekend. You get a good workout in. You get some sun if it's around you. Call your loved ones. And probably most importantly, buy some Bitcoin and take it off the exchange. All right, guys. We'll see you on Monday. Peace out.
Today's episode was brought to you by BitcoinWell.com, a Bitcoin-only platform on a mission to enable financial independence.